Hey guys, what's up? A few weeks ago, I went to Port St. Augustine a few months ago, and here's the vlogs. Hey guys, I'm back. I cut off the audio quality for this because of how poorly it was. Like, it was it was filmed like with no enhancements of audio quality. It was only built for the pictures. So the audio quality is, of course, going to not be the best on it. So I am just going to talk a little bit about everything. Not necessarily what you see, because, I can't remember it, but I pretty much just tried. So if you want, you can pause the video and read it, but if not, you might want to skip to the main house tour. And there's the Confederate flag. Okay. And there's the rifle, and that's pretty much everything I can tell you about that house. Or well, that's an American flag. That, it looks like some flag. Alright, I'm just going to stop because, but anyway, I can't tell you what everything is. But, anyway, so, like, generally, what this is right here is the museum. And as you enter the museum, it's part of the gift shop, essentially. And there's all these different flags and stuff. And so, yeah. Well, that's a picture of an old guy, apparently. Of course, the house is really where it is, so if you're not interested in this, though, I do recommend staying and watching the map making thing, because even though the museum is the map making thing was a whole lot better. So I recommend staying for that. So yeah. But anyway, I am going to go and just let y'all enjoy some of the footage until we meet again. Alright, guys, I'm back again. This is the map house, but I decided since there's not really that much time left until we enter the house that I should probably start talking about the quality of the audio and that stuff. First off, I did have to point everything at the ground, so I did not put it in the lady's face, if that makes sense, because, that's kind of frowned upon. And there's Lucas freaking out about a boat. And in case of y'all couldn't tell already, St. Augustine was under a mask mandate at that time, so all the thing is a little blurry because they made us wear those things. And yeah, I love that. And so yeah, this is where I have to go, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, I'm sure there's water in there.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
So there are a few different ways that we can do this. You folks can feel free to head on in, do some exploring on your own. I'm here to answer any questions.
All right.
But if you'd like a little bit of a spiel, I have that as well.
All right. Well, let's hear it.
All right, fantastic. So as you just pointed out, the well, what do you think that water would have looked like coming up from that well?
Pretty mucky.
Do you have an idea?
Maybe just pretty clean.
Pretty
You
cool.
think clean, and you think yucky?
It probably had a lot of sulfur in it.
I said, yeah, mucky, like.
Well, yeah, it would have been really, really dirty because that water is in the ground. It just doesn't look good. And I can actually show you what it would look like right over here. So if you want to step back a little bit, I don't want to splash anyone. So it would come up looking like this.
Woo, with dirt and sand in it.
Yeah, so that's just nasty. Just dirty, disgusting. You don't want to drink that. You can't drink that. Please don't drink that. And what they'd do is they'd filter it using this pumice stone. Pumice is a volcanic rock that came over to St. Augustine as ballast in the bottom of sailing ships that would keep it from tipping over. And so what they'd do is they'd pour their icky well water up in here, and then it would filter through the stone, and then in a few hours they would have this nice clear water.
Clean drinking water.
Yeah, of course this water down here still isn't safe to drink as the pumice doesn't filter out any of the germs in the water. So they would need to further purify this water down here by boiling it, or the Spanish would add a little tiny bit of alcohol to their drinking water, and that would thoroughly kill anything which may be inside.
I'm all for adding alcohol.
Like rubbing alcohol or
like booze.
drinking alcohol?
Drinking alcohol.
Drinking alcohol.
So if you'd like to head on inside and into that right room, I'll be able to tell you a little bit more about the families who lived here, and also
Too
about
bad the
building
pretentious
the house.
English didn't think of that idea. They'd have saved a lot of lives.
Oh yeah, the water thing that happened in London in the,
Yeah.
what was it, the 40s, 1840s?
So this house was built between 1702 and 1723. The original floor plan was only these two rooms, so there weren't any side rooms. There wasn't even a fireplace in that room, and that door wasn't even there. The walls are built using coquina, and coquina is a natural shellstone quarried over on Anastasia Island, and it has a super unique property that when hit with a cannonball, the cannonball will just embed in the coquina rather than splintering and cracking. So you can actually see the bricks of coquina used to construct this house in that panel back there.
Yeah, cool.
So the first family that we have living here is the Gonzalez family. Tomas Gonzalez was originally from the Canary Islands. He was an artilleryman over at the fort. They would have worn a uniform a lot like that one in that corner. Once here in St. Augustine, he married a local woman, Maria, whose family had actually been here in St. Augustine for the last 100 years.
Wow.
Once they were married, this house was likely a part of her dowry. So she and Tomas moved in here together, along with her two parents, and through their stay in St. Augustine, they had 10 children together. So yeah, now, 10 kids, 4 adults, only 2 rooms. It's not a lot of space. And that's partially why we don't see a lot of furniture down here on this first floor. The Gonzalez family would have had 2 pieces of furniture. One of them would be that brazier right there. The brazier would have been able to provide warmth during the cold months, but also smoke during the warm months. You see, the Gonzalez family did not have these nice glass windows. Instead, they had Spanish-style windows, which were essentially the find a way, table swings, so you can see if something's eating your food before you get to it. Does anyone have any questions before we move on?
Was this area affected by the bubonic plague in its later stages?
Not super the bubonic plague. It was more smallpox, yellow fever, and malaria.
And of course, COVID.
Yes. Alright, so in 1763, we have heard of Gonzalez family, and that's the end of the 17th War, also called the French and Indian War. And that's when we have Britain coming in and taking control of Florida. They divided it into two colonies, East Florida and West Florida. So that meant all the Spanish soldiers here had to flee, which included Tomas Gonzalez and his family. They ended up fleeing to Cuba, but before they did, they entrusted the sale of this house to a man named Jesse Fish, who had a terrible time getting this house sold, but he would eventually sell it to a British couple in 1775. We'll be happy to talk more about opening this room over here. All right. Okay, so in 1775, we have Joseph and Mary that purchased this house, and they were a dual-income family with no kids. Joseph was the paymaster for the British troops, and Mary was a midwife. And so with this higher income and with their British tastes, they were able to adapt the house to suit their needs more. So they were the ones to put in the fireplace, the pantry, that door leading to St. Francis Street, the storage room off of that room, as well as the upstairs. And they were actually able to use the upstairs as their primary living space and operate this first floor down here as a general store and tavern.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Feel free to explore around this room. If you'd like to look into our pantry, of course we do so. And I'd like to call your attention to that left wall, and you can kind of see a ventilation structure up at the top. You can also see it from out here if you can't see it too well.
You want to see it on the side? There you go.
Right up at the top right there. And that was to keep this room a lot cooler than the rest of the house. So if you folks would like to head on upstairs, do some exploring, and once you get back down here, I'll be able to answer any questions you may have.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, first we could come over here. I'm gonna get your real quick.
Of what?
Camera, please.
What am I? Oh, I'm multitasking now. Woo.
Take it off.
Okay. Everybody. Say cheese. All right, there we go.
I have to put that on.
Yeah, put it back on. Put it back on. Henry, you need help, baby?
This is what you sound like going apart there.
Well, this appears to be more British than anything else.
So then I have to put it up.
Probably built during the George era. The three Georges. You can clearly tell that this was built during the King George era
Yeah.
with the three Georges, and it's
Slow
British.
down. You're like you're moving really fast.
And yeah, that's about what I can tell you just by looking at it.
Yeah, we're pretty old, baby.
Don't sit in the chair.
Yeah, we're not sitting.
See there, dear, you should have just made some doilies to go on here.
There we go.
Why else we go on the next?
Despite the fact that King George
Are
died,
we gonna look in there?
Wait,
you can king.
what? What about King George? Yes. King James. It was James, George,
Yeah, I know.
then Victoria.
Yeah, I know.
With a few kings in the middle. But those are the three main eras. Oh yeah, and don't forget the Charles era.
Oh, wait, is there actually
Well,
It doesn't matter. We typically start in that right room back there.
Okay,
then
we'll do that.
Move into this room and upstairs, but you can go however you want.
Alright, here
Thank
you
you
go.
so much. I hope you have a great rest of your
thank
visit.
you. You too. Hey guys, here I am back in the current time. I have to stop it right here because that video is getting long. So if you want views from the boat parade in Jacksonville, Florida, not Mississippi. If you want that, and you want just a few views from the fort, we didn't actually get to go inside the fort, but we did get to go outside. So if you want to, because of lines, if you want to see a few views from that, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Yeah, see y'all in part 2.